All right, guys, the Talon Snorkel is done. I'm going to show you how it came out, and then I'll show you how I made it. So this is just the intake snorkel. I'll do the vent lines in a minute. You can see how I have it tucked up in the roof right there in that corner to where it's shielded by the roof and the roll cage. It is very inside of both of these pipes, so it's protected from being slammed against trees. It's aluminum, boost tube pipe, and yeah. So it comes down through there, cut a hole in this grate, did not cut any of the other plastics. Comes into here, into another one. This is about a 90, and another coupler, and then straight into the air box. That piece that goes into the air box is off the factory box. I did not want to clamp down on this pipe. I wanted to keep a good seal there, so I cut the end off the factory snorkel. This is just a 90. So starting at this end, it's factory snorkel, long 90, short 90, two couplers, and then this was, I'll show you how I made this, little S-bend coupler, and then a 90 up top. And it tucks in there real nice, very shielded from the back tires throwing mud up in the air and everything. And it's the top of it's pretty much hidden. So, you know, it's very well protected up there from dust, mud, all kinds of stuff. This is just a 2.5 inch bracket for pipe from Home Depot. Probably change up eventually. I'm not crazy about how it came out, but there's a bung right there, so screw into that. It's really solid. You can shake the whole bike with this snorkel. Very strong, very solid. I think it's pretty clean, and unlike everybody else, I did not have to cut a hole right here. So here's what you start with to do this. I've got about $100 total in the whole snorkel. You buy, I'll post a link for this. This is a universal boost tube kit off of eBay. Comes with a bunch of different pipes. It comes with a 90, a couple straights, and it comes with a couple U pipes that are bent like this, right? So it's a U. So what I did was, depending on where you cut it, you can make whatever angle you want. So that S-bend I was talking about is just a U pipe cut in half, cut a little bit out of the center, and you can see how you get an S-bend. So basically you just cut the U, cut the middle 3 inches out, and do that. I would give you a lot of detail how to do this. However, you need to know what you're doing to begin with. So this is not like a, hey, go buy some pipe at Home Depot. I cut this stuff with my table saw. It cuts this aluminum pipe very good. But this is the way to do it. And the reason for that is it's thin wall. So if you want to get the factory flow and use PVC pipe, you need to use 3-inch pipe. 3-inch pipe requires you to cut a giant hole, will not fit through there, looks stupid, won't route nicely. But this has about the same inner diameter and a much smaller outer diameter because the pipe wall isn't super thick. Look at the difference in thickness there. So that's 3-inch PVC, and that's this aluminum boost tube. So that's why I went with it. As you can see, about the same exact size as factory on the inside, because even the factory plastic is pretty thick. So it didn't lose any flow and didn't waste a ton of space, and it all fits really nice. This kit comes with these clamps. It comes with a bunch of couplers and some elbows. Now you can easily snorkel 2 Pioneers with one of these kits. So if you have a buddy that wants to do it, you know, you got more than enough elbows and everything here to snorkel multiple bikes. I'm probably going to use it to snorkel the intake on this better. I wouldn't recommend using aluminum on an ATV necessarily because you'll impale yourself on it. But there's very low chance of that happening back here or on a side-by-side where you have a seatbelt. That being said, I still might use it on ATVs just for better flow because it's about the same footprint as 2-inch ABS, but way more flow. So you could do other things down here. You could have it come up at a 45 and then another 45 up to here. I chose to keep it simple with a 90. I don't think it looks too bad. It's got plenty of clearance around the shock. You can still get to your shock adjuster. You could have hit it more though if you wanted to. You could have had it tuck up in there farther. But that's how I chose to do it, and I think it came out just fine. There's a plastic shield that used to be in here, that giant thing. Its whole purpose was to shield the factory intake. Because the factory intake is not here anymore, you don't need that shield. I chose to leave it off. All it's gonna do is hold mud. So it makes it a little easier to clean in here and stuff. And it'd be harder to route this around that shield, or you'd have to trim that shield a lot. So I think this is the superior way to snorkel it. You're getting good flow. It's tucked up out of the way, it's protected. You did not cut a hole in your expensive piece of plastic. The reason that's important is because you need to go to the dealership for some warranty thing. They're gonna be like, oh, why is there a hole there? Why is it snorkeled? So all I gotta do is buy this little piece right here, and I can take my snorkel off and no one will ever know it was snorkeled. And I just think it looks cleaner coming through that vent than cutting a hole in this. So I don't know, I'm really happy with how it came out. I really will probably end up making a better bracket here. This looks a little janky. What I did was I just put a hose clamp through it. You can see where it kind of cut a hole. So that hose clamp is what clamps this bottom one, part of the coupler, and mounts it pretty much. And then I ended up adding a screw here for make it a little more rigid. But you know, it's pretty hidden in there, and I'm hoping that having it up in that corner like that will make the intake noise a little better. And of course, it's as far away from my head as the driver as possible. So the passenger is gonna get some intake noise, but not too bad. To cut the grate out, it's really easy to cut. It's just a razor blade. It's a pretty soft piece of plastic. I'll start it up now and let you hear the intake noise and see what you think about that. Still kind of apart. I've got to do all the vent lines now. For the vent lines, I actually went and bought the Honda OEM vent line that's used on this thing all over the place. It's a $60 piece of hose. Don't really recommend doing that. That was kind of dumb, but I did it. So I got it neutral. So I do hear a little more intake noise than before. Obviously, it was shielded, you know, up in there before. Now it's kind of exposed. Rev it up, see how it sounds. Sounds pretty good. I don't think it's too noisy. It definitely sounds better than my Razor did, because there's obviously no belt noise. So yeah, it's gonna sound better than a Razor. But yeah, here's how it looks from up here. If you wanted to, you could not do that S-bend and you could have it just sit right here. But I wanted it up in this little corner to shield it as good as possible. I have a little clip I'll throw in after this showing you where all the vent lines are. And you can snorkel your vent lines however you want. One thing to think about is if it overheats, it's gonna spray coolant out of that vent line. So you don't necessarily wanna dump coolant on yourself or your passenger. So route that intelligently. And your gas line vent, it's up here and they have it breathing under there. You don't wanna vent the gas line where if it sprays gas out, it's gonna go on your exhaust. That'd be stupid, obviously. This roll cage doesn't have any holes in it to run wires through it or run vent lines. I don't want to drill a hole in my roll cage, so I'm probably just gonna have them all, you know, up in this corner along with this snorkel. And in the front diff, I'll probably just run up this pipe right here. And then radiator overflow isn't that important. All right, made it out to Holopal, so let's talk vent lines real quick. You gotta check all your vent lines on anything before you go do any off-roading, especially in areas that are wet. So Honda does a pretty good job. So here's a rear diff. Vent line comes up to here in the frame. The top of the frame is sealed. The bottom of the frame right there, you can see where they skip a weld. So that's where it'll actually breathe through. So this pipe's got to be completely full of water before it can suck into the diff. So obviously that's going to change eventually, but that's okay for now. This breather right here, this is your sub transmission. I did check it and make sure there's oil in it. There's a bulletin about dealerships forgetting that. That sucker goes way up into there, and you can see it tuck up in there. So it's one of the higher breathers. Crankcase breather, you can see it coming off the top of the engine there. It goes into the air box, obviously. So no worries about that one. So that's it for the breathers back here. Gas tank breather is also a very important one. It was kind of hard to find. You can see it right there. It comes up forward and goes into the frame. So not super high, but still adequate. Coolant reservoir overflow comes up here and goes into the frame right here. So they're real big on breathing. I'll put all these breathers in the frame. And if you look at the front diff, it goes up that way and it goes into the frame right there. That's your front diff breather. So you can go through some water with the Talon stock. Don't recommend it, but if you need to, you can. So what I decided to do was leave this one in its factory location. This is your radiator overflow. It's pretty high up. If a little bit of water gets in the coolant, there's already water in there, and it breathes in this pipe, so it's shielded. So I'm not gonna mess with it. This is a gas tank vent. So you can see down here, there's a splice and fuel line clamps, and then it runs up to here, up to there. Same thing with the front diff. Put a splice right here, ran it through the frame right there, and I'm about to zip tie all that up cleaner, but runs up this pipe, and they both go into this little bracket right here. So no need to worry about the brakes. Inside here is a little diaphragm. It's really a closed system. As brake fluid goes down, the diaphragm goes down. It keeps it separated from the air, so you can't get water in here. You don't need to worry about trying to snorkel your brake reservoir. You gotta be careful with back here is the exhaust, right? If you melt a vent line, it'll pinch it shut or get water in or whatever. That's what took out the transmission on my Razor. So here's the rear diff. Comes right here, factory. I just teed into it right here. This is that Mr. Hose, garden hose spray from Home Depot, Landscape, Mr. Landscape. And then it goes under here, under the snorkel pipe, up to here, and then up by the snorkel. Transmission breather goes there. You can see there's a T right there and a hose clamp. And then it goes up next to here. You can see both of them. And they both run up here and they sit inside that little plastic thing up there where they're nice and shielded. So, you know, nothing's gonna splash in there. They're up there with their intake. Good to go. Like I said, I'd like to put them in the pipe, but maybe next time. So that's it for the rear breathers. There's just those two. I ran the gas tank up front to keep it away from the exhaust. And there's also this weep hose down here from the water pump. You can see I just put a cap on it. Put some clear silicone and a rubber cap, and that'll keep mud from getting into my backside of my water pump. Yes, you're not supposed to cap that, yada, yada, yada. That's your indication that your water pump's gone bad. I've capped them on every single Honda I've ever had, and I've never had a water pump go bad. If you don't cap them, you will have a water pump go bad. So easy to fix that. Everything else in this thing should be waterproof. Here is the clean side of your airbox drain. That's the bottom of the airbox right there. Clean drain, and then there's also a dirty side drain over here. So those look good. Those are sealed. Pipes are on like Donkey Kong. Very rigid. Don't think we're gonna have any issues with the snorkelage. And there's the grate. Cut that out. I need to get my little crayon marks off there. But looks pretty factory. Very well shielded. That's gonna keep my air filter clean. And I could probably dunk this entire roof underwater for a second and keep going because of how well shielded it is. That was something I really wanted to incorporate. I mentioned that if you don't want to do the same bends I do, buy this kit. This is the way to do it. Highest flow, most professional. Comes with way more than you need, so you could do whatever bends you want. So say like, let me show what I mean by that. So it's like, say you have a 90, right? You're like, oh, here's a 90, but I only want to do a, I don't know, 75-degree bend. Or you want to do like a 78-degree bend. With PVC, you're stuck. With this, you just cut a little bit of it off that joint right there, and as long as you get your clamp good on there, it doesn't matter if you have this lip or not, right? Those clamps, those boost tube clamps are really strong. You just cut a little bit of that 90 off, and now you got a 75. You can make the perfect angle with this, which is not the case with PVC. Also, PVC, when you have a corner, they lose a lot of flow in the corners. This is the same diameter through the corner. Let me show you what I mean by that. So you look at like a PVC elbow like this, it's smaller diameter in the corners. So you're really losing a lot of flow if using PVC. It's fine for four-wheelers, but on a side-by-side and stuff like that, where you really want to maximize flow, the best way to do it is with this boost tube. And go figure, it's made for intake tubing, so it's going to be the highest flow and the most efficient. You could get bigger pipe if you wanted to do like 3-inch or something. I think this is going to be fine, but really recommend snorkeling AT side-by-sides this way. Really clean, really sturdy. And of course, the most important thing about a snorkel is not affecting the factory tune. And this does not add any more flow resistance. If anything, this stupid like baffle thing, you know, I might have actually gotten rid of some flow resistance. Probably not. It's probably the same. And you know, maybe 1% less flow because obviously it's longer and head loss is proportional to the length and all that stuff. But sounds pretty good. I'm just gonna button it all back together, put the center cowl back in here. I had to pull this off to get to that transmission breather. And it should be good to go and ready to submerge it and start rooting it.